All right. Good evening, podcast. World Knows on Facebook Live. Time for another episode of Things My Mother Never Told Me. Tanya, say hey.
Hey, how's everybody? Thank you for joining us.
All right. We got another special guest on here.
Yes, we do.
We're going to change the name of this show to Things My Mother Never Told Me, according to the Esters. I think that's what we're going to call this show from here on out. Right. Well, they doing good things out here.
Yes, they are.
So, Maraa, we're going to read your bio, and then we're going to ask you a few questions and let you tell your story.
All right. Sounds good.
All right then, Facebook. Let's welcome Maraa Ester, a Detroit native and Cass Tech graduate. Woo, woo, woo.
There we go again.
Received her Bachelor of Arts degree from Clark Atlantic University and her Master of Science degree from Strayer University. She began her career at Verizon in 2010 in Augusta, Georgia, where she managed sales teams across the district. Maraa has begun her marketing journey at Verizon, which took her from Alpharetta, Georgia, to Schaumburg, Illinois, to Dallas, Texas, and New York City. In her current role, Maraa is the integrated marketing lead for all things sponsorships, including the creative support and management of key milestone moments across the NFL, NHL, NBA, and more. As a strategic leader, Maraa is also the Global Communications Chair for Verizon's Black Employee Resource Group, called BOLD, Black Organizers, Leaders, and Doers, for over 4 years. She is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, where she serves in the North Dallas Suburban Alumni Chapter. As a current Dallas resident, you can catch Maraa enjoying the sun, friends, and family when she's not traveling the world. All righty then. Here we go. Hold on to your hats.
Well, once again, welcome, and thank you for agreeing to be on here.
Yes.
Well, starting off, you check off quite a few of the boxes that we like to check off.
All right.
You went to Cass.
Well, that's the most important part, right?
That's always a bonus. HBCU. That's a big check.
Mhm.
And like I was saying in the intro, you were Esther, so I guess that's another one.
Oh yeah.
So real quick, we know how you went to Cass. We know about that. Clark Atlanta. How'd that happen?
So honestly, I think the first time I heard about Clark was from one of our church members. He probably doesn't even know this, haven't talked to him in years. But, Cedric, what is his? Oh, I can't. No. Oh, that's so bad that I can't remember his last name right now. Is it Pitts?
Oh, Pitts. It is.
Yeah.
Pitts. It is Pitts.
I remember at church, there was like an HBCU fair, and I remember him talking about Clark. I think he went to Clark, but HBCUs stem deep in my family. So I always have known about HBCUs. My dad went to Virginia Union. My grandmother went to Central State. Grandfather went to Dillard, along with other family members. So I always knew I wanted to attend an HBCU. I just didn't know which one. As you guys know, my little sister graduated from Howard University. So I always knew I was going to attend an HBCU. I love her people.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Right. And a great education from those schools. Mm-hmm. And Delta Sigma Theta.
Yes, sir. The only one.
Well, we've had one or two Deltas on here, maybe 5 or 6. I don't know. I lost count. So let's jump into it. How did you wind up at Verizon?
So I was looking for jobs upon graduation. I had a friend tell me about Verizon. He was about to start working there, and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. So I looked into it, got the job, and it was up from there. So, I mean, it was a great company, and I knew they had benefits and that they would pay for my education if I needed to. So that was compelling. So I said, let's do it.
Right. And so when you first went to Verizon, was Texas where you started?
No, I started in Augusta.
Oh, I'm Georgia. Sorry. You said she read it. Augusta. That's where some of my family is from.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, in the general vicinity of Augusta.
Okay.
It's a little smaller town than Augusta, but yeah,
What's it called?
I don't remember.
Oh,
A long, long time ago.
a lot of places over there. So
Yeah. So, all right. So they sent you to Augusta, and you got to work on your Verizon career. And so you managed a sales team. How big was that district?
I feel like there were probably like 80 people, but I used to work in different store locations, and I was like the district apprentice at that time. So I had worked at probably 5 different stores within that entire district, some of which were in South Carolina. So I started in a retail leadership development program at Verizon.
Okay.
So that's why I was able to kind of move around and go into different roles. And it wasn't until I stepped into marketing is when I joined another program internally, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yeah. We're gonna get there real quick. So let me ask you a question. So, because I'm trying Master of Science from Strayer and Bachelor of Arts. So was marketing your end game, or that's just where you wound up?
So fun fact, I actually wanted to go to culinary school after college. I love to cook. I still may, get into that space one day, but yeah, I had no intention of going into marketing initially. I wanted to be a chef and open a restaurant.
Cool. And I think it's important to talk about the fact that we don't necessarily have to make a career where we get our degree, because most corporations just want a degreed person, and they'll work with you from there. So that's good. But
because my daughter, because she went into finance. Next thing you know, she
in law enforcement.
Right. So. And the thing is, even if I would have majored in marketing back then, I did take some marketing classes because I was still a business major.
Okay.
But even if I had taken marketing back then, it has changed tremendously.
Yes.
2010. So I would have had to start over anyway.
Right. Yeah, I remember a guy came to my job before I retired, and he had all his degrees and paperwork, and I said, "Oh, that's cute, but none of that stuff is what we do here."
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to break you down and bring you back up to what we do.
Yeah.
But it's good for them to know that you are able to learn and willing to learn. So I guess that's the important part. And so let's do this. Tell us about tell us in your own words about your journey to where you are, and we'll jump in and where we want to ask a few other questions, because your bio is got a varied timeline, but I think that it's still all connected though.
It is.
Yeah.
It's all connected. So, and I'll put the disclaimer out here. I am not by any means representing Verizon or speaking on behalf of Verizon or any of the other orgs that I talk about. But so my Verizon journey, I started in Augusta, like I said, in a retail leadership development program. Then I learned quickly that I was interested in marketing, and it seemed cool, but a lot of people are interested in things that they really don't know much about, and you don't know what you don't know. So I started asking questions within my district. I became the marketing go-to person. So I would help with like the events that we would have on site. Sometimes we would have events at the Army base in Augusta. So I would coordinate that stuff. But then I found out about an internal marketing program called the MAID program, which was Marketing Analyst Development. And that is how I ended up in Alpharetta. So I actually was in a training class, and in this training class, this guy was in marketing, and I was like, oh, I need to talk to him. So my networking brain, I'm like, hey, can I ask you some questions about marketing? So I set up a meeting with him later on. I had gone back to Alpharetta to shadow him to learn more, met a lot of people then, and then I applied for the program. I show up to my interview, all the people I met were in my interview.
Oh my goodness.
and so real, I'll stop you right there and put a pin, you can get back to it. And so that shows, for anybody that's listening, that don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to put yourself out there, because you never know
what doors
are going to open up down the road.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
And for you, some big ones I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that was something too to be go in there and see all the people that you had met.
Mhm.
yeah. So
Yep.
all right, so go ahead.
So within that program, got in, and I was actually on 2 teams. I was the only person in the program that was on 2 teams somehow. So I was on a product team and an equipment team, which was really cool at that time because I got to work with a lot of partners like Samsung and learn about the Verizon products that we were developing. So after that program, I got a job in Schaumburg, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago.
Mhm.
That was our focus on customer experience marketing and like analyzing and looking at how customers perceive Verizon and
Okay.
things that we can do to improve our customer experience across different spaces. Then after that, I moved to Dallas, Texas, where I did indirect marketing, I did prepaid marketing, integrated marketing, and covered our coverage was from Vegas to Pensacola, Florida. So we had a lot of very fun cities
Really?
in our territory that we got to cover. And then after that, I moved to New York City to work on our national integrated marketing team for consumer. And currently I'm on our brand integrated marketing team. So now I focus more on our large scale brand campaigns with 5G in addition to sponsorship work. So I work closely with our sponsorship teams who manage NFL, NBA, hockey, baseball, soccer relationships, you name it. So
All right.
Wow.
mouthful, but that's the journey.
Right. So how long did you stay in Schaumburg?
I was only there for like a year and a half, I think.
Okay.
And so then they moved you straight to Dallas.
Then I moved to Dallas after that. Yep.
And how long was you in Dallas when you moved at that time?
The first time I moved to Dallas, I'm back in Dallas now.
Right.
The first time I moved to Dallas was 2015-ish, and I moved to New York 2019.
So
Okay.
okay, so you was there one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was your longest stop, I'm gonna
It
assume.
was.
Yeah.
And you liked it, so you
I
back.
loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, because I remember when you moved to New York, because your mother was talking.
Pandemic.
Right, your mother was talking about that move. That's just. I think she liked it more than you did.
But one thing I do like to correct Dallas people on when I meet them,
That
I
big
tell
D
them
thing.
I'm from the real D. Let's
Yeah.
be clear.
That's right. Somehow they got confused because so many of our
Right.
people moved down that way. But we forgive
You
them.
got that right. You made me smile.
Okay, so and I guess that's another point because for me, I could never have done that. I once I plant my feet, I'm like there. But I think that in today's arena is better. It's more advantageous. I'll put it that way to be able to move, to be mobile, even though we still do a lot of stuff remotely, like we're doing this.
Cause that's a lot of moving.
But
That's all I can say.
yeah, but right. But when you talk about those locations, I mean,
So your furniture in a suitcase.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, because I think Dallas and New York are two places where they want you there, and I think it's a big deal to be there too. So you are now the integrated marketing lead. First question, is that a fun job?
It is. It's really fun. I get to work with a lot of teams, like a lot of cross-functional teams, but then a lot of external partners. So like I just worked on a project with Snapchat that we're trialing in 2 store locations. So it's like an internal, like an immersive experience in store. So that's something we've never done. And just within my role, I get to work with a lot of cool people, but on a lot of projects that change. So it's not like I'm doing the same thing every day. It's always changing. Technology is growing.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, it's fun.
All right. And how big is your team?
My direct team, there's
Yes.
4 of us.
4. Okay. Well, heck, that's good because
Yeah, small but mighty.
right. When you start getting 8, 9, 10 and more, it can be a headache sometimes. Trust me, I know. The more people you have to manage or deal with, the harder it gets. And so you were the global communications chair for the Black Employee Resource Group.
Bold.
Bold. So does that group still function?
It does.
And
I have just since retired. They got a lot of years out of me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and so what exactly did that group do?
So Bold, we had some key pillars. So things like communication, customer, but also community and
Mhm.
career advancement. So we as an employee resource group, and we had 9 at Verizon. So we have like a Hispanic one, an Asian one for
Okay.
parents, LGBTQ, all that.
Mhm.
So the Black one, these are affinity groups. So it was our job to, bring people together that look like one another, that you might be able to relate to on a different level than you can with your, general counterparts. So we did different events. Like here in Dallas, one of my favorites was Juneteenth. So we had done that for a few years.
Okay.
And the last one we did before COVID was huge. We had it at 2 different locations. We had our salespeople on site, but we also partnered with other Black employee resource groups from other companies. So we partner with American Airlines, CBS, McKesson.
Okay.
We have resume drop boxes, free headshots, and we're celebrating the culture all at the same time.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, it was great.
Right. So the locations were they indoor and outdoor for that?
This last one, yeah. So we actually had it at Bar Louie. And then across from Bar Louie is this other spot. So it was kind of like we had this whole section within Bar Louie. We had a DJ, we had artists on site, performances. Then we
Oh
had
my goodness.
other spot. It was great. We had food. It was amazing.
Back across the street. Oh my goodness.
Right. But then we also are responsible for putting together the Black History Month program, which is a huge time of the year, obviously, for the company. So that's held at our headquarters, our leadership, our CEO, CMO, they all get involved. So it was great. Yeah.
Cool. Well, as far as Juneteenth is concerned, without Texas, there'd be no Juneteenth.
Exactly.
Right. So I mean,
great time to have an event like that.
Right. And so so now let me, because I know that's the organization. You're not a leader in that organization anymore. So will you still be involved in those only as a participant now?
Yes, as a participant. And if needed, a strategic advisor, but they haven't needed me for a while. So, but yeah, I really helped to stand up the organization and the communications team. Like I formed a team of volunteers and kind of passed that on. So it's nice to see that they still are doing some of the things that I, laid the groundwork for.
Right.
Wonderful.
Means you picked the right people. So they didn't give up on the idea. So now you had the opportunity to go to London.
I did. That was amazing.
And that was work related?
It was. So it actually was for a program called One Young World. And within this program, it's connected to the United Nations, and it's all about addressing the sustainable development goals like human rights, equitable access to education, finances, and things like that. So Verizon, one of our leaders, had a strong passion point for a lot of those things. And we had 25 Verizon employees from around the world that were able to attend. So I applied, went through the process for getting in, and I was chosen. So it was amazing to be amongst other people from Verizon that were from different countries, but not only was it Verizon, but about 200 countries in general participated in this. Meghan Markle was there, J.K. Rowling, like tons of big names. It was the most amazing experience ever. That was October 2019 when I was able to go before the pandemic.
Right before the pandemic.
Oh my goodness.
And so,
Yeah, I had interpreters, I know.
So did you guys you set in on brainstorming sessions, I guess, or how did the what was the process, if you can go into it?
It was actually a very long process. It was great, but it was like so many plenary sessions all day long. And then there were like breakout things to where like I went to one that was about the fashion industry and slavery within that industry. But then we also heard from people from North Korea who, you know, told their stories about the hardships that they faced in their country. And we also heard from leaders who are world leaders who are only like teenagers, early 20s.
Oh my goodness.
Such a big difference just for like women's rights or things that we take advantage of here in America. But it was just so inspiring to hear those stories and hear like what people are doing to make the world a better place.
Yes.
Okay. And was there any feedback or follow through after the session was over?
Yeah, so we as Verizon employees were tasked with coming up with ways that we could help to bring some of that back. So like within Verizon, we implemented a part of our tuition assistance program now includes like environmental sustainability. As a result of that, we also worked to go green. So like we helped to initiate some go green programs within Verizon just to make sure people are recycling and encouraging people to use glass over plastic and reusable products. So
so that wasn't a CAS project.
It wasn't.
Oh, okay. When you said go green, I immediately.
Oh yes. I mean, without that CAS education, I probably wouldn't have gotten there though.
Chain him with that.
She get to blow her own horn. What are you talking about me? I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
So, is there anything that you can talk about with your work with the digital platform dealing with the major league sports in any type of ways? Anything you can talk about there?
So one thing that I work with the teams on is like preparing for the upcoming seasons. So I am working with our sponsorship leads who work directly with the teams on when are the key milestone moments that are happening throughout the year, like Super Bowl or like the NFL draft, and, you know, making sure that we are prepared from a marketing perspective. What messaging are we going to be putting in our arenas and in stadiums, working back with the creative teams to say, hey, creative team, how long is it going to take you to develop this creative? Putting together a creative platform and package and like working through that strategic work to bring everything to life. So not only do we work on like key milestone moments, but it's also our responsibility to make sure that the messaging that we're running is tying in with the broader messages that you'll see on commercials and happening.
Okay. And I know that fairly recently you received I don't know if it was an award or as much as recognition for some of your work. And what was that about?
It was an award. So that was great from our CMO, which is an award program that was put together within our group. So that was nice to be recognized for all the work that I've done in the sponsorship space and in Fire.
Great.
Wonderful. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, you know, we don't do it for the recognition, but it's always nice to be recognized. So I'm gonna do a little segue right here. We told you earlier about the question, if you will. And so in your journeys, because you've done a lot of stuff, and if your mama prepared you for all that, God bless her. So is there anything that you've come across, you've experienced that she didn't necessarily prepare you for, or have the opportunity to give you a background on it?
We were joking about this earlier, but being the oldest Esther child from my parents, I like to say I am the test baby. So you know, they were new parents trying it out with me.
Right.
Great job. Love my parents. Shout out to the parents.
Uh-huh.
One thing my mom always encouraged me to do is to like chase my dreams, do what I want, and believe in myself. But one thing she did not necessarily say to do is move. So I know she was sad when I went so far away for college, but obviously moving is something that I've done for a number of years. And I encourage a lot of young people to do that because, you know, do it while you can. Especially if you're able and have the opportunity, do it. Just go for it. You have so many different experiences and you gain so many life lessons. You have new perspectives when you go to different places and experience different people. But the other part of my London journey, I spent an additional week in Europe going around to different places. I went to Paris and Italy. And I did that by myself. So
Wow.
that's definitely not something my mother encouraged me to do, but I would encourage people to just go for it.
Yeah, you know, right. I think that that your age group, more so than especially the ones before you, were more apt or more likely to jump up and just go. Go to school and not come back home.
I know, because that's how our daughter did.
Right,
You know,
right.
way,
And we right. I got
never
it.
look back.
Yeah, and I got a cousin who he did the same thing. She graduated from Western, and she disappeared. She's been in DC for God knows how long, but that's what she did. And she, similar to what you do with her job, she does a lot of traveling and been all over the place. And I think your age group is more likely to do that than the ones before you. Now the ones coming after you, I don't know what they're doing.
Whatever they want. They are just free spirits.
Yes, they are.
Not going to be locked down. They're not going to do something they don't want to do.
Right,
That's
right.
true.
Without
That
a
is
doubt.
so true.
Without a doubt. So where do you see your career headed at the next 5, 10, 15 years?
Oh, that's a long time.
I know it's a long time. I know y'all don't think that far ahead. So let's stay within 5 to 7 years. Let's stay there.
I would like to transition into a more digital focused role. So that's why I've been in some recent programs at work and working on some side projects with like our .com team and our social activation team to learn more about that space. So I'm looking to transition into something that's a little bit more digital focused.
Okay.
And you know, may do some other things on the side.
We got to do something on the side. It wouldn't be right if you didn't.
Right.
With these digital cars, got to speak it to us, driving by their stuff. We got to do something.
Exactly.
Right. And you know, it's you know, for me, I'll speak for me, that Verizon is involved in all these things in the way that they are, because that's, you know, most of us, Verizon, okay, cell phone. And that's it. And that's it. But I'm seeing that you guys are involved in a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and so
people don't see.
Right. You know, I guess we see the sign at the events, and okay, Verizon. Well, we see a lot of signs, but we don't know the background of what's going on behind the scenes, and how someone that looks like you gets the opportunity to be involved in it. Because, you know, years ago, I think
on higher scales.
Right. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before we came on air about how, you know, some spaces we weren't necessarily privy to. And so we stayed where we were and didn't participate in the big fun stuff. So,
yeah, we actually have a program at Verizon called the Ad Fellows program, which is specifically designed to get more minorities into marketing.
Okay.
And we partner with, like, I want to say, I think it's up to 50 other partners to do a rotation so that kids are able to come in out of college and, you know, get some experience. Yeah.
Right, because that was going to be my next question. So that's the outreach program with colleges. That's one of them anyway.
That's one of them. Yeah, there's a ton of different programs that they have, but that one is specifically catered to minorities. Okay.
Okay, so now we gonna you got something for on this business, because we're gonna slip away from this for just a second.
I think, well, she's like enjoying the son, friends, and family, and I see she's been traveling. I see she's been in a lot of weddings, going to a lot of weddings, and just I was like, because you seem like you're so busy. I was like, well, what did she have time to to do all these other fun things?
Well,
Because now your job even fun. So I was like,
right. Yeah, that's why she took her so long to give me her bio, because she was too busy traveling.
Yes, you're right.
love it.
So with that point, because that's where I wanted to segue to, in your free time, what kind of stuff are you focusing on?
Just like from a fun perspective.
Uh-huh. Yeah, forget business now. We talk about fun stuff.
I'm a big foodie, so I love to eat. Dallas, a lot of people don't know.
Don't
Dallas,
look like it.
I still stay fit. I work out consistently so I can eat.
No, that's how our daughter is. She work out consistently because she's trying to gain weight, but she said she just wants more muscle to build up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I love to eat. A lot of people don't know Dallas has a lot of great restaurants. So always something going on. If it wasn't a wedding summer for me, I literally have been to 4 weddings this summer.
Yeah. So
Okay.
One in Jamaica in April. So if I wasn't in all these weddings, I would definitely have traveled more places. I'm a big traveler, looking for spots for my birthday in January.
Okay.
Right? So all your friends getting married.
Well, it is what it is. So one thing that when you were a majorette or a cheerleader at one time in high school or college? What was it? Were you?
We were called Pomerettes in high school.
Pomerettes, okay.
College, I danced in college too with the band.
Yeah, reason I know that because you went to a homecoming, wasn't it? And you jumped in and showed the young kids how it's done.
Oh yeah, always. Always.
That's right.
You showed that baby sister the ropes.
Yeah. About a month ago, actually, at this point. Yeah.
Oh, the one I'm talking about was probably a year or two ago.
Oh,
so
no.
You did another one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so that might, you know what? That might have been a current one because I think Taylor posted it.
Yes. Yep. That was a few weeks ago.
Oh, I thought that was the old one.
You still got it.
I know that's right. So
you like that heat in Dallas, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, now this summer was extreme.
Yeah, it was. I was like, ooh.
It's never been this hot. We literally had about 2+ months of triple digits with
yes.
no rain. So that was a lot. But yeah, I still like the heat.
That sounds like a lot.
I know. I guess I got a cousin that just that lives in Dallas too.
Oh,
just built a house there.
Yeah, see, there you go. So what are you doing with the Deltas currently?
So I am on our economic development committee in my chapter because that's a point for me, especially as a Black person, Black woman. I think it's important to educate people on finances, the importance of ownership, the importance of saving and investing.
Yes. So
that's why I'm on that committee. I'm also a co-leader for, we have these pod groups. So in addition to our chapter, we also have just different groups of clusters of women within the chapter who live close together. So I'm also coordinating events for that. But economic development is definitely a passion point for me.
All righty then. And the program that you're working with them, that's regional, local?
So our chapter covers about 5 or 6 different cities. We have a lot of chapters here actually in Dallas. So a lot of Delta chapters, a lot of other Greek chapters. So sometimes we collaborate. Recently we had an HBCU fair about a month and a half ago. So it was great. Thousands of people came out, over 20 HBCUs represented to talk to college students. And our chapter, we were there registering people to vote.
Okay, very good. Yeah, because Dallas covers, well, not Dallas, but Texas in itself is just, cities aren't that close to each other for the most part.
Yeah, they're pretty spread out.
Right. So in Dallas, so does your chapter partner with the Fort Worth area?
They have a Fort Worth chapter.
They have their own chapter there?
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever. So I mean, you sound like your mother though. You know what I mean?
She definitely has rubbed off on me. Yes, I know a lot of people like she does, have a lot of friends. I support a lot of people, get into a lot of things. Even if I'm tired, I'm still going. So my goal for November was to make it a no November. So
Oh, so the heavy on the no, right?
no, trying to be, but I also have 2 birthday events just this weekend. So from
Right. And then you took a little time out your schedule to talk to us.
Yeah, we appreciate it too.
But this wasn't
Wow.
something I would say no to.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Who can say no to us? So I don't know. Do you have any, because you got your master's, I'm just being nosy. You plan on going any further than that?
No.
Because
I mean, I do like certificates on the side and like, brush up on skills and things
Yeah.
like that. But well, that's not true. I have considered getting another master's in digital marketing.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll do it, but I am doing like certificates and things like that.
Right. So
Mhm.
still learning.
Yeah, staying up on
Yeah.
it.
And getting paper to prove that you did.
Right. Mhm.
All right. So I'm looking at, so if you had a advice you'd give to a young person coming up through the ranks, what would you tell them?
Go for it. Don't limit yourself. Ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to be yourself and walk in your truth and be your authentic self at all times, because you never know how far that will take you. If you're trying to hide and like be something you're not, that might actually work or have the opposite effect of what you thought that you were going to accomplish. So be true to
Mhm.
yourself, go for it, make that move, apply for that job, start that business, have no fear.
All right.
Right.
God first. Amen.
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 There you go.
Amen. And so now I'm finna ask you a question I ain't asked your brother or your sister.
Uh-oh.
What was it like being the oldest of that group?
It's great. They'll tell you I'm so annoying. I act like I'm their mother, like they're my kids too. Until I have kids of my own, they are my children. I love them to pieces. So it's great being their big sister.
Right.
Wonderful. And that legacy of all those deltas from all these old down from the grandmother. I was like, that is just amazing.
Yeah.
That a legacy like that. I was like, no way.
Really before our grandmother, our great aunt also.
Really?
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I guess y'all had no choice.
Right.
And no choice of being successful. So
Right.
Exactly.
it was
Well,
instilled.
that's what I'm saying. And your siblings are, I'm sure they're making you proud with the stuff that they're doing.
They are. I'm so proud of the acting and the courtroom and
I
the
know many facets.
academics and the football, all of it. So
No
proud.
doubt.
Right.
I mean, even the resurgence of your mom, you know what I'm saying, her with her career.
Yeah. She loves it.
Just-
Loves
yes.
Mary Kay and learning about Mary Kay.
I know, and just climbing through the ranks and just, I mean, just working.
This is Mary Kay on my lips.
What is that?
What color? I can actually tell. It's right here. Have the real color. I'm not even joking. Okay, I can't read that. Oh, red stiletto.
Red stiletto.
Red stiletto.
That sounds pumped
Okay.
up. All
Okay.
right.
Right.
My favorite color anyway.
And I imagine we're somewhat, I was say your mother's probably somewhat getting a chance to take a break for herself, but she's still dealing with Cass.
She won't do it. She just won't.
Right. Well, I guess she can't take
I
it.
just love the energy that she has.
Right.
I was just like, she need to buy on sale that part.
Right. Well, she can't. Right. She can't take a real break, but then neither the rest of y'all, because I done seen a bunch of y'all. How many James's games have you been to?
I haven't been to a ton this year because I live further, but I will be at the one after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Who they playing?
I don't know.
Don't matter, huh?
They do have a game tonight, so I'm gonna watch.
Right.
So,
Oh, they playing Western tonight.
how is that? Probably.
Yeah, they're in Western. Yeah. So, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, we ain't gonna keep it long, 'cause I know the game is probably started or about to start.
Yeah, I think it's gonna start soon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, that was just, it's amazing.
right. So you plan on taking over Verizon at any time soon?
Oh, I don't think I want to do all that, to be honest. No.
Look, I'm waiting for the restaurant. That's what I'm waiting on. Because I'm like you, I like to eat too.
I love to. Yeah.
So,
Oh.
okay, so she said, is that, I mean, you said you want to do some culinary stuff, but are you thinking about possibly one day opening a restaurant? Or
Yeah,
just,
I think I would still dabble in the food industry.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I like that.
So right, so your cooking right now is mainly you find recipes and do those, or have you even dabbled in trying to create a recipe?
Mhm. Oh yeah, I mean that's nothing for me. I mix and just do all kind of stuff, experiment. But yeah, I follow recipes as well. I have a food page on Instagram. It's called Mara's Kitchen. So feel free to follow.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what that proves is that you can still be successful at work, put in all hours at work, do big things at work, and still have time to do what you want to do.
Yeah, do what you love.
Yeah,
really.
right.
Mhm.
So that's wonderful.
Hey,
Any more questions for Mara?
no, Maya's, I mean, she's kept me smiling. I'm just saying. I was like, I wish I had that energy back like that when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, I had the energy, but it's like I go here, go there, do this, that. My only one dream was just to be to go to what is it when I was up the Peace Corps. I wanted to just save the world, you know what I'm saying?
That's
And
beautiful.
yeah, and I was like, but once I started, my mother was like, she wasn't encouraging on that.
No. I mean, I guess that's a good thing, but no.
I wouldn't have found you, honey.
I know you would not over there. Not over there.
But like you said, the Lord already ordered my stuff. So he already had that plan. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna give you one the opportunity to say to give some closing remarks, and then not just for the young folks, but for the old folks. We need to know.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we need to know.
I already spoke to the young folks, the old folks, I will say, or older, the wiser, sure, is that a better, anyway.
Yeah.
I will say embrace change, because if you don't, it's just gonna leave you behind.
Yes.
Right.
You got to learn that technology is not going anywhere. It's just going to continue to be more advanced. And if you don't learn it now, you're just going to be lost in the sauce. So we don't want that.
Right, without a doubt.
And listen to young people sometimes. You may have been around longer, you may have different experiences, but young people are going to be the future leaders and the people who are going to make decisions. So bring them into conversations, validate their experiences, take their ideas seriously. And a reminder to older people, it's never too late. So
there you
can
go.
still accomplish your dreams. You can still make a career change. You can still start a business. You can still go to that dance class that you always wanted to go to. Don't ever
Right. Well, you know, to that point, a friend of ours, she was on the show a few months back. She actually made a career change. When did she make that change? Last year, the year before last? Well, a couple years ago, but she went from being a travel agent to a lawyer.
A lawyer.
Oh, wow.
She was doing it for years.
She was doing it for years.
And she just up and said,
I don't
want to be a lawyer.
She, I don't want to do this no more. It's not challenging enough.
That's a prime example. She went for it. She didn't say, oh, I'm too old to start over. Oh, I have kids I got to support. She just said, I'm doing it. So
and she was up in age too.
Yeah, when she made the change, without doubt. Right. And right, and to your point about listening to young folks, because part of the reason why this show is called Things My Mother Never Told Me is because when I was trying to come up with a name, it occurred to me that in the time from when my mother passed away till we started the show, there was so much stuff that she didn't know about that that hadn't even occurred. I put it that way. That she couldn't possibly have told me about. But in us living our lives, some of us get to a point where we've done all we wanted to do and all we think we can do, and we just like, I'm done. And so there's too much that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
That we're not competent in. That we need to not be afraid to admit that we have some deficiencies and get help from somebody who's willing to help us.
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And right.
Ask those questions and look up things that you're curious about, and yeah, just take advantage of the people that are in your circle or your own. Ask questions.
Right. I learned this a lot just by having all these guests. I was like, maybe get in the loop.
Yeah, we've learned a lot of stuff from our guests, without a doubt. And we appreciate you coming on and talking about your journey.
And definitely me, I've become a good listener.
All right, Mara. Yeah, well, I used to be able to read minds, but I stopped doing it because well, we thank you for coming on here.
Sure do.
And we know you're gonna continue to do good things, do great things. And we really got our fingers crossed for that culinary journey that you're gonna set out on.
Be encouraged.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, because one thing for sure, from starting this thing, it's stuff that people want to do that they need to go ahead and do.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't be afraid to do it, and do it while you're still young enough to enjoy doing it.
Yes. And you got that Esther effect, like that Oprah effect. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right, without a doubt.
I'm telling you.
All right, so we thank you for coming on here. Go ahead and check James out.
Oh, let me check him out. Let me turn on.
Yeah.
All right, then have a appreciation. We expecting virtual hug. Thank you.
All right, much love.
Bye. All right, then.
Take care now.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness, that is so wonderful. Uh-oh, here comes Jada.